Hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Conversations. I'm David Thomas, and today we have with us Mr. Brent Smith, candidate for District 5 Commissioner. Brent, it's good to sit across from you once again.
Hey, David, how's it going?
Are you okay?
I'm good, man. I'm good.
Did I go too fast?
No,
All right.
Good.
I'm a little fired up today, Brent.
I know.
Before we dive into things, there's two things we need to take care of. First of all, I need to read a disclaimer. I said, before we get started tonight, I want to make sure we're transparent with our viewers. Brent is currently a declared candidate for Bedford County Commissioner, as I said, in District 5. And Conversations remains an editorial program under the full control of Shelbyville Now. This platform is not affiliated with any campaign, and we will offer equal access to all qualified candidates in the race. Our goal is to provide an open discussion of issues facing Bedford County while maintaining fairness and transparency. Okay,
that's the key right there. Fairness and transparency.
And that's something that gets tossed around like it's a bad punchline.
Yep.
And it's not. It's real. I mean, it's something that needs to exist in all forms of government, from the basic levels here in the county all the way to the federal. We hear that word transparency, and it's like laughed at sometimes. It's not serious, know. Yeah. Oh, a transparency. Well, that's for the ones that have something to hide usually.
That's right.
They don't want to be transparent. But, there's another thing we need to do, and let's thank our sponsors, Brent.
Let's do it.
We've got two great sponsors, and we want to give them props today. We got 580 Graphics and Dennis Young Insurance. Let's hear from them, and when we come back from the commercial, we'll dive into some topics.
Sounds good.
All right.
Yeah.
Looking to make your brand stand out? At 580 Graphics in Shelbyville, we turn your ideas into bold, professional results. From custom logo design to screen printing, embroidery, vehicle wraps, decals, banners, and signage, we handle it all in-house with precision and fast turnaround. Whether you're a small business, a church group, a sports team, or a growing company, our experienced design team works with you every step of the way to bring a vision to life. We don't just print graphics. We help you get noticed. Exceptional service, eye-catching design, results that speak for themselves. Visit 580 Graphics today and let your brand make a statement.
Get the results you want with the personalized service you deserve at Dennis Young Insurance Agency.
As a local independent agency, we offer coverage from several different companies, including Erie. So whether it's auto, home, life, personal, or business, we can find the right coverage to meet your unique insurance needs. And with a rate lock advantage, your rates won't go up as long as you do not change drivers, autos, or addresses. Contact us at Dennis Young Insurance Agency, insuring Shelbyville and surrounding areas since 1988.
All righty, welcome back in here to Conversations. And I know, Brent, it's been probably 2 or 3 weeks since we've sat down and talked. And I know a lot's happened. I mean, the election has had a lot of twists and turns in it. Some of the campaigns have gotten ridiculously nasty for some reason. I don't know why, but they have. And I guess in local politics that can happen, Brent. But what are you hearing and what are you seeing? What kind of dialogue are you having with the people that you're meeting?
Yeah, so I think people are most people have made up their minds. They're ready to go vote. They're ready to go vote. Although I do think there's always that small contingent, that soft 3 to 5% in the middle that's just kind of waiting for something to happen, waiting for something to come out. The folks that like to wait till election day to vote.
What do you think they're waiting on? Rumors or something?
Rumors, or maybe the other shoe to drop on something. But this is not just this election, of course. This is
always
every election. Yeah. And let's be honest, a lot of people like to go on election day to their precinct and talk to their neighbors, while they're voting down there, and walk in and kind of see what's cooking. And so I think that's kind of cool, really, when you think about it. But I think most people have made up their mind. Yeah. And as far as what I'm hearing, again, people are just ready, I think, to just move on and get things reshuffled for this next election cycle. People are excited about the governor's race. People are excited about this new congressional district. I am hearing some chatter about that. Obviously, the sheriff's race is huge. And there's, again, a lot of talk around that too. But I think folks are ready to move on.
What about the mayor's race? You hear any chatter on that? I'm not hearing a whole lot.
I'm not hearing a whole lot of chatter. I get asked a lot, who should I vote for?
Where
are you leaning? And
I
try to stay away from that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so other than that, I think people, even in that race, though, I think people know who they're voting for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, topic wise, what's the scuttlebutt on the road as far as concerns? What's everybody's biggest concern? I know we've gone through the whole gamut of growth and infrastructure and property taxes and this and that. I mean, everybody's got their checklist and their talking points, but what are you actually hearing face to face with people?
Yeah, so folks are concerned about taxes. These property taxes, especially in Bedford County, is something folks are really concerned with. We've had this recent adjustment, this revenue neutral adjustment. I guess the good thing is that is a substantial amount of new money coming in for the county. I think when you look at the county budget that was just released last month, it was somewhat conservative and then I think somewhat amended. And so I think we're looking good from a budgetary standpoint moving forward. But the folks, the people, the neighbors, they are concerned of, hey, I just got this reappraisal and, my house hasn't had any repairs on it in 20 years. And this thing just went up 200 grand.
Yeah.
Or 400 grand. What's my insurance company now going to charge me to insure my house?
Oh, let me tell you, it's happening. I've already got mine. It's not pretty.
Yeah.
It's not fun.
Yeah. And so that's a major, major concern right now is taxation. And so that's probably the number one thing. And I think the number two thing is making sure that we get people in the commission that are independent thinkers, that are smart, that can navigate this complex situation that we're in as a county and as a country with AI coming in, data centers. We still have, issues, I think, with growth. And so a lot of people are really concerned about those issues as well.
Yeah.
And I'm hearing something else too. And this is part of my platform. I mean, it's no secret. I'm a conservationist. I want to have the cleanest air and the cleanest water around. I mean, that is not a secret. And people seem to be more engaged on those issues now than they were 4 or 8 years ago, because I think now they're seeing our Duck River being drained down, especially this spring. I think now we're in pretty good shape with all the rain.
Yeah,
but it's being drained down. This drought really woke people up to how precious our natural resources are. And I have a lot of people say, I used to see a lot more turkeys in my farm, and now I don't. Or just the wildlife on the Duck River. We saw more ducks floating around, more wood ducks. Now we don't see them. And fishermen, we used to catch more fish on Normandy, or we used to catch more fish on the Duck River, and we're just not seeing that anymore. Heck, used to be a big wildlife fisherman, and 6 or 7 years ago, you could go down to Normandy and you could catch your limit at the right time pretty darn quick. And now you can go all week and not touch a limit.
Yeah.
And so
have you tried Tim's Ford? That's not close. It's not as close as Normandy, but Tim's Ford, from what I understand, my understanding is, on these hot July days, you can go on them points and catch a walleye or two.
Okay,
with
that's
good. With a big old grub worm.
But you got to fight off 40 boats coming at you
Absolutely.
at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So you might want to give that a try if you're really after a walleye.
Yeah.
Maybe.
But those are just some of the issues that I'm hearing out there on the campaign trail.
Okay, back to the budget. You mentioned that, and you made a statement that we're okay right now on the budget. All right, so I know somebody that's really dug into the budget. He sits across from me on Saturday morning.
I think I know that guy.
You know the guy.
Yeah.
Okay. He's probably any room he walks in, he's probably the smartest guy in the room. Okay. He looks at this thing and he's got a concern. And there's been some points that I've seen on this that next year, midstream next year, and we start talking about the next budget coming up, you're going to talk about a potential hefty tax increase to replace some stuff that we're dipping into this year to prevent a tax increase. So going into that framework, you're going to have to, and this is just my opinion, you just tell me what you think. We're going to have to take a close look at our priorities in county government, and we've got to prioritize things and say, this is most important, this is next most important, this is next, and we have to spend accordingly. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, so it's, again, no secret, one of my campaign pledges and promises is to try to get a line item budget passed for the county commission. Now, granted, you really can't touch schools and fire department, police.
Right.
But down from there, you can look line by line and really decide if we need those extra vanity projects, if we need those things to, maybe have somebody's name on the building, Do we really need those things? And so,
Yeah.
again, leaving the police, the fire department, the schools out of it, I think when you look at some of these other big spenders, give an example. Somebody's going right now. Well, give me an example, Smith. Well, here it is. This juvenile detention center, right? That was approved, last year?
Yeah, last year in the bundle deal.
Yeah. And it went from 5 million to over 6 million. And, that was not mandated by the state.
No, and actually, we needed a 20,000 square foot building, or 11,000 square foot building originally, and it got cut down in half for the same amount of money. Cut down in the size from where we said we needed it.
Yeah.
And now it's the same price.
No, it's more expensive.
It's
right?
Well, it's about the same. I think it's what they were talking about. They were thinking about 6, 7, or 8 million, I think, for the 11 or 12,000 square foot. Now we're down to like less than 6,000 square feet. And it's going to cost 6 point something
for something that we didn't even have to have. You know what we need? You know what we have to have, David? We need some good roads.
Yeah, we could take that money and spend it on roads. Mark Clinton could use that money.
Yeah.
I mean, and we're behind the 8 ball on our 20 and 30 year plan of roads. He don't have enough money to operate with. I mean, you can only do so much. But back to my point, you're committing to not raising property taxes. So you got to count on some sales tax revenue coming in. Then you've got the lawsuit with the city that could tear into that.
Yep.
I mean, how does this all come together? I mean, how can the group of people that's representing the constituents get in a room, work things out, and say, guys, we've just got to cut some stuff so we don't tax people out of their homes? How do you go about doing that?
First step, like I just mentioned, is a line item budget, and we look line by line to see what we really, really need. Because when all that has some sunshine shined on it, I think people would be embarrassed to vote for some of that stuff, right?
Yeah.
And so I think once we flesh that out, that's going to save us a substantial amount of money. So right there's some savings. I think also we need to look at what we need. You had a word for it. I was talking to you before the show started here. What's
priority audit?
A priority audit, right?
And now audit sounds terrible, but audit is you're like checking the things that you're doing and making sure you're doing them right.
Right.
That you're doing them efficient.
What do we absolutely need? What do we have to have? And then put that money towards those things first.
Right.
And then anything extra, because I'm a conservative guy, I'm a Republican, I'm super conservative. I want that to go in a rainy day fund, Yeah. Just in case something, if we have another 08, if we have another turning,
Yeah. Well, let me tell you where I got that term. It popped in my head one night. I'm saying, this is what people are doing with their checkbooks at home when they're sitting down looking at their own budgets.
They have emergency funds.
I talked to a guy, and he's a sales rep that I deal with. And I said, how are things in your neck of the woods? He goes, man, it's tight. He said, we just had to audit our own budget at home.
Yeah.
And we had to get our priorities in order. Okay. Those two words just came together. He just did a priority audit. And that's what we all have to do with our own budgets personally. Why can't the county do the same thing, or any government for that matter?
Yeah. And it's okay to go without maybe something that you want, not something that you need.
Yeah.
But something that you want for a while. Like right now, I really, really want a tractor that has the horsepower to handle my place. Right now, my tractor it's not where it needs to be, but I can't spend the money,
I get it.
Could I afford it? It's a want, not a need. Yeah. But why do I want to put myself in that bind if it's not an absolute thing that I have to have, like food, like water,
right.
Like some rest in between, working and home life and all that. I mean, those are things that we need to be able to stay healthy and to stay productive. And I think when we're stretched out financially, living paycheck to paycheck, whether it's at home or if it's in the county, that's just not good business, especially, man, when inflation is so high. I mean, look at property values 4 years ago and look at them now. For the most part, they've tripled in value right here in Bedford County.
Some of them
in some areas have gone up 4 and 5 times. Now you can't outwork that.
No.
Have you gotten that kind of raise here in your business?
There's no way.
You can't outwork that. Yeah.
All right. So Troy Thompson came and we did a Meet the Candidates show for Troy last Saturday. We put it out, and
Troy's a good guy.
Yeah, he did a really outstanding job, and he brought up something that made a lot of sense. And he said, he's been in county government. He worked for Mayor Ray. He worked for Mr. Parker when he was county executive. He worked for Jimmy Woodson. He went through 3 administrations, and he made this statement. He said, we have always been able to do more with less. And I just asked him, do you think we've got to keep doing that? He said, oh yeah, we're forced to. That's what we have to do as people that are managing the tax dollars. We got to do more for less. And I think that was an awesome way of describing how government has to work.
Well, the one thing government can do, and I'm seeing it in my business and you're seeing it in yours, things that used to take me several hours or maybe a day or two to do, like I'm thinking like reporting.
Oh yeah.
Now I can just throw it into AI, the basic information, and it's done within sometimes less than 20 seconds.
Yeah. That's got to be utilized.
And so as a county, I think we need to be thinking about our own internal AI system, that's sort of, it's compliant. Compliant, governmentally compliant, to where it can handle a lot of these tasks compliantly and most importantly, equally as importantly, efficiently.
Yeah.
And man, it could really save us a lot of money and a lot of time, because here's the deal, back during the Industrial Revolution, there were some people that didn't want to get on board, right? And they were kind of left behind. They were left behind and lost a lot of money and just never really got caught up. They were called Luddites, right?
Yeah.
And so we are at a point in time right now to where if you're not at the very least sniffing around and figuring out how to use these different technologies,
you're going to be sucking wind and behind the curve quick.
It's happening so quickly. Yeah. And here's the thing about it. We're getting those warning signs, right, from the people that are in those businesses. Now, you can either be on the side of the fence, hey, I don't want to use that technology, or you can be in the camp of, I want to use it, but I want it to be used carefully. But regardless, it's moving forward with or without you.
I wonder how many people, when the telephone came out, said, I'm not going to touch that.
Yeah, well,
this even that. Okay, so where are you now if you didn't?
Yeah.
Okay. One thing about AI I would want to challenge somebody to is take our county budget, the spreadsheets, throw them into agent mode in ChatGPT or Grok. Go agent mode, go deep, give it some time to analyze that. You'll get a good chuckle.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to tail off. It's going to tail on you. So that tells me that AI could be utilized in our finance department and all the administrative offices. Our county clerk, our trustee's office, our register of deeds office, our property assessor office. Man, he could really go to town with that, or she could go to town with that.
Yeah.
In place with drones and stuff.
Yep.
You could start cutting the workforce down to where you could get some more money for Mark Clanton to pave some roads.
Yeah, and you would still need that human component to make sure everything lined up and things made sense. Because whenever I use it, I always have to go back in and just make sure. And sometimes, I don't know, maybe 5% of the time I'll find something in there. But that's just technology that, we can agree on or disagree on, but it's here and it's going to keep coming.
Yeah. I mean, if you did not pick up the calculator, I remember the pocket calculator.
Oh yeah.
The first one we got was about the size of my phone right here. And it was a Commodore. It was a white one and had push buttons. I remember my dad buying it in 1971 for our business because we had these old ad machines that you pulled, Yeah. And the next thing you know, you've got these calculators coming out, and you'd be surprised what the calculator did for his business, just being able to add, multiply, subtract without all this other, all this old stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm like looking back on that laughing, but that was a major step.
Yeah.
What we're going through right now is a millionfold what that was.
I agree. And this is something else I think too, as much pushback as we've gotten on the data centers, they're already finding ways to make these data centers more efficient.
Yeah.
And you got Elon Musk. He wants to put them in the upper atmosphere. He wants to get them all off Earth totally with his heavy lifters. And that's going to happen.
There's a couple of challenges he's working on, but I got news. He's going to figure it out.
Oh, yeah. So this is here to stay. This is going to happen. But let's just go back to taxes for just a second. And I want to talk about just how many taxes we pay.
Oh, my gosh.
On a daily basis. Now, we pay federal taxes, right? We have our federal income tax. It depends on your tax bracket, but that's always a whopper. We have payroll taxes. We have excise taxes, those hidden taxes on the specific goods such as airline tickets, fuel, tobacco, alcohol. We have gift and estate taxes, taxes on transfers of large sums of wealth or property, usually above significant lifetime exemption thresholds. We have custom and duty taxes, taxes on imported goods. tariffs, something that you're pretty familiar with.
Oh my gosh, don't get me started on tariffs, Brent. That you could have just slapped me and got the same effect. I mean, it's even though they've been reduced, it's ridiculous what we're paying right now.
And let's not forget about state taxes. We don't pay a state tax, but we pay taxes on our food. We pay taxes on goods and services. We pay taxes on our clothes. We pay sin taxes. So and that's a state level. So
you need to cut that out, Brent.
So
no sin taxes.
so I've got federal taxes. I got state taxes, and here we go, local taxes. So we got property taxes. We got local sales taxes. We got local income occupational taxes. We've got utility taxes and fees, and then some even want to tax a truck. For a wheel tax.
Yeah.
And everybody knows I'm 100% against a wheel tax.
Right.
Because that just traditionally goes into a slush fund and is just wasted.
Yeah. If you took all this and added it up and you really did crunch the numbers, we could probably, if all the waste was pulled out, we could get by with just having a sales tax and not have to have a property tax if everything was done properly at all levels. The problem is we send so much to the federal government. It does shortchange our local governments. Mm-hmm. We send so much to Washington to watch them to go blow up something or give away, pay somebody to be our friends, mm-hmm. or hand it to foreigners mm-hmm. that's coming in and settling in our country illegally. We've got all this stuff going on. If you actually isolate it down and did an audit on the priorities there, mm-hmm. we could probably get by with just our little local sales tax, and it would pay for everything if we could keep more money here.
Well, it's going to be interesting because, the Florida House passed, no property taxes. I think there's some parameters in there, but a lot of people in Florida aren't going to pay property taxes, bottom line.
Right.
And it's going to referendum. Of course, that's going to pass.
Of course it is.
But that's a successful state. And you see what they've done. They've made it attractive for businesses to come to that state, just like Tennessee has, just like Alabama has, just like Georgia has, North Carolina, South Carolina, Texas. And I think there's a good chance we could see some of that cross-pollination here in Tennessee.
If we took 20 cents of the amount that we're paying in fuel taxes in the state of Tennessee and brought it back to the local government, there wouldn't be any property taxes, and our sales taxes would be cut down, and we would get more money if you just did the math on that. Yeah. Our state has the highest sales tax of most any state around. We're up in the 10%. Yeah. And then you look at our fuel tax mm-hmm. that we're paying. It's a hefty amount. You go, it tells you on the pump what you're paying at the state level, what you're paying at the federal level. Mm-hmm. And our state is banking money. Okay. I just wonder where it's all going. I think we're probably one of the most solid states financially.
We are. We've got a pretty good piggy bank at the state level, and I'd love to see some of that money.
It needs to come back to this Main Street.
To Bedford County, and heck, if they just said, "Hey, look, we want a meeting with Mark Clanton. We're going to fix your darn roads." Can you imagine what that would do just for businesses wanting to come to town?
Man, they got enough money where they could give every county in the state a $15 million grant every year and never miss it, man.
Yeah,
seriously, they got billions and billions, hundreds of billions of dollars just sitting. And that's something we're all driving around on some of these roads that need to be fixed, and we can't fix them because it costs so much to pave them all now.
Yeah. And we've gone so long without focusing on priorities like the roads as an example. I know there's other priorities, but let's just use that as an example because they're so darn bad. Once you get behind the ball, especially with a road, because it needs constant maintenance, if you neglect that road for 5 years and then that turns into 7 years and that turns into 10 years and you're just patching, man, it's going to cost so much money to go back in and redo that road.
Yeah.
Even just tar and chip, which is most of our county roads.
Yeah. Well, we were talking earlier, that number one priority has got to be law and order, because without that, we have nothing.
Number one priority
foundation.
is law and order. Yes.
Well, without that, we don't have peace to live in. So that's something that we've got
equal law and order,
right across the board, a level playing field for everybody.
Yes,
no favoritism, just across the board. I mean, we've got, admittedly, we have a drug problem. Okay, that's part of law and order. Mm-hmm. That's we have mental illness issues, which borderline. That's a tough subject. But when all these things are prioritized, things start getting a little bit better. And it makes it a better environment to attract these businesses in there. When they know it's a safe place, they'll bring their families. Yeah. So I think that's the number one priority.
Well, and there's one thing, and I'm sure you've heard this, used to back in the day, somebody would consider success would be in a big neighborhood with a big old house and a pool in the backyard with a bunch of neighbors.
That's not me.
That is, but that was,
I know,
that's what people wanted not too long ago.
Yeah.
And look, there's nothing wrong with that. If that's your jam. There's nothing wrong with that.
Well, I grew up in a neighborhood like that.
I grew up in a neighborhood like that. I mean, but that was something that was very popular, a while back, but now people want more space like what we have in
Need some
Bedford
elbow
County.
room, man.
That's kind of the new wealth. And I think that's something that we could cater to, and when I say wealth, I mean, people want space. They want to have a little something, like you say, a little elbow room. I think if we were to cater to some more of those type folks, and we had the great roads, we had that awesome law and order, we had the things that really make our town attractive to start a new business in. And we're already seeing some of it up on the square, which I think is great.
Yeah.
But we can multiply that out times 20 and still have tons of room to grow.
I think if there's some way you could give an incentive to developers to come in to a neighborhood that's starting to run down and say, hey, look, here's neighbor. Let's do a tax credit of some sort. Renovate this neighborhood right here. Come in here and buy these homes. Recreate this neighborhood.
Yeah,
we need that nationwide.
Well, I mean, every small town in America is suffering from that. And I look at Shelbyville and I'm like, man, we already got water, already got sewer, the power lines are up, the roads are in pretty good condition here in Shelbyville. And I look at some of the older neighborhoods here, and to your point, I mean, there's a lot of opportunity, just like what we saw in Nashville. Not to that extent, of course, but there is opportunity to reimagine and redesign some of these neighborhoods and really remake our whole town to where,
it everything rises.
Everything would rise. Yeah.
Well, Brent, I know we've got just a few days here before early voting starts.
Yeah, Friday. It starts on Friday.
What's your opinion on early voting? I mean, we got like how many days? 12 days of voting?
Yeah. It's a couple of weeks. Early voting includes Saturdays. So polls are open from 8 to 5 Monday through Friday, then 8 to noon on Saturdays.
Yeah.
I like it, and here's the reason I like it. I'm out working, and I've been in those long lines on election day, and I've made that mistake, and almost couldn't vote a couple of times. And so I like to just slip in there, on my way to work or coming home from work or over lunch or whatever. And usually it's not that busy. And I think it's a great opportunity for your voice to get heard, and you're in and out. You're not spending 20 or 30 minutes.
Well, I like the idea, and I like that we have it. It all originated, I think, from absentee voting, and it's turned into early voting, and it's expanded. It's so convenient now. There's no excuse not to vote. But I'm going to go on election day to Flat Creek to the community center, and I got to go in there and see my ladies there because I wait till election day.
You're one of those I was talking about earlier.
I got to go in there and see Miss Rittenberry and see all the other people that are in there and talk to them for a minute. It's not going to be crowded on election day. It never is when I go. I'll pull up in there 9:30, 10 o'clock in the morning on election day, and there's like 2 people in there voting. Later in the day, it gets more crowded, I think. But I just want to encourage everybody to get out and vote. And whether you do it early or if you wait till election day, just go do it.
Yeah, and the thing is, we just historically, as you know, David, we have a very low turnout. I think there's 20-something thousand people that are registered to vote.
29,200
okay, somewhere around there. We've got 55,000 people that live in the county.
Yep.
I mean, even if all those people went and voted, it's still underrepresented for the majority of the people of how our county government, works.
Yeah.
And so I just encourage everybody to go vote, even if you only know about the 1 or 2 maybe you know who you're going to vote for this primary and the governor, and you know who you're going to vote for sheriff and commissioner, or you just know who you're going to vote for commissioner. Go and vote. You don't have to push all the buttons. Push the button that you know.
Yeah, exactly. You don't have to vote for everybody. You vote for 1 commissioner or 2 commissioners. Either way.
Yep. Yeah. Or you can just vote for the sheriff and don't have to vote for. I mean, you can do whatever you want to do. But a lot of people fought and died for this right. Our country is designed on your voice, not the voice of the few. And I think it's so important that everybody, regardless of who you vote for, go vote. Have some skin in the game, because when it comes to complaining time, and that always happens.
Oh yeah,
At least you've earned the right to complain.
that's right.
Because people
Yeah.
that don't vote, they don't have the right to sit around and complain because they didn't have skin in the game and they didn't go vote or they didn't support somebody. I just don't want to hear anything from those folks.
Exactly.
You know,
Absolutely.
but go vote because it's your right and it's something that we all need to do as Americans and people that live here in Bedford County.
Well, Brent, thanks for sitting down, man. It's
Hey,
been
man.
fun.
Thank
Always
you.
fun.
Appreciate you. Yeah.
Maybe after the election we can sit down and talk,
I'd love to.
or maybe before. Who knows?
Yeah, we'll see how
We'll
it
get
goes.
back together.
Yeah.
Thanks
All right.
everybody for watching.
Thank
I hope you gained something from this conversation. It's always fun to sit down and
It
talk.
is.
Y'all have a great